we have reversed traffic. DOT has allowed us to reverse traffic on Astor Avenue to accommodate the amount of traffic flow that goes to the I-Center in particular. So the roadway will be closed, and folks will be allowed to enter Esplanade Avenue from Astor Avenue. There'll be a flagger at Astor Avenue stationed during work hours. If anybody wants to come in to drop off patients at the I-Center, if anybody who lives on Astor Avenue, on Esplanade, wants to enter, the flagger during the day will control that and allow them to enter.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Please don't move.
Yes.
So the crowning is only where it indicates closed?
Right, exactly.
Nowhere else?
Crowning as far as that, the trunk main installation, correct. It's gonna be right between Esplanade, and it's gonna stop a little bit before you reach Williamsbridge Road, right in that section.
Where it says closed?
Yes, exactly.
No, it's where the orange
This-
line?
Right, so this is Esplanade going north. This is going to be closed, so there's no point in going in here, because you can't go across that marked out section there, because that's where the pipe is gonna go.
That's the
That's the
crowning.
crown.
This is where the
The
crowning.
stitching,
Right.
stitching.
Right, that's where the crown will be, not here, there.
Okay, so that's
Okay.
crowning. Is there gonna be flow problems where we're gonna have water that's gonna go into the properties and the homes and the driveways, but there isn't proper drainage? We've seen work like this similar in Country Club, and I have driveways that become ponds
Right.
during the winter, and they turn into ice, and they can't use their own driveways.
No, I don't, that's not what is, there's drainage that is gonna be installed in that section to address any drainage issues, because as I mentioned, we're gonna be installing new catch basins, and so on. So, no, there should not be an issue with drainage in that section.
But that
yes.
area floods now.
Can we keep the questions for after the presentation, please?
No. Do you amend? I mean,
Yeah, you know, it's gonna be, everything's gonna be slowed probably toward catch basin. That's part of the whole reconstruction. It's gonna be all surveyed, every flow, it's gonna be directed to a certain catch basin, and you will not end up in any ponding. It's not gonna happen. We did that multiple areas, and it never happened.
so to continue, like I said, no vehicular traffic will be allowed to travel north across Esplanade, and motorists wishing to access Esplanade will have to enter from Astor Avenue during work hours. Also, access to Esplanade, like I said, will be temporarily allowed from Astor. At Pelham Parkway North, vehicles will be able to exit Esplanade and turn back north on Laconia, as depicted by the arrows. So people who come in will be able to turn, there's a bullnose right there at the end of Esplanade, right outside of where the I-Center is, that has a street light that's there. To accommodate this turn out of Esplanade, so people can exit back to the north, we're gonna be removing that street light pole to allow the ability for a car to turn and go back out, okay? Now, at all times, until the installation is complete, no through traffic from Laconia Avenue to Williamsbridge. So that little section right here, where folks come down Laconia and wanna make the right and then the quick left onto Williamsbridge, that is going to be, until the installation is complete through that section, that is not going to be possible. So folks coming down Laconia is a very wide street. Folks at Laconia will have to make a U-turn to go back out north, okay? So there will be no through traffic
It's gonna
at
be
Laconia.
local emergency.
Local and emergency traffic only from Astor Avenue to Laconia. Okay? During construction hours as well, as you can see, it depicts that detour, as I mentioned, before you reach the work zone, you're going to be detoured to the north. There's going to be traffic, two-way traffic will be maintained on Williamsbridge Road at all times during this installation. So what will happen is, as the trunk main crosses Williamsbridge Road, we'll plate the one side and have all traffic, we'll be working on one side and have all traffic going, 2 lanes of traffic going in each direction on the one side of the roadway. Once we're complete, that'll shift to the other side, okay? But the other impacts that I just mentioned will again remain in place during construction hours. After construction hours. So at the end of the night, when we're done, Esplanade will be available for local and emergency traffic, again, local emergency traffic only. So, folks who do enter Esplanade after work hours will have to make a U-turn to exit Esplanade. That's just the reality of it. So these, and the crowning, and it's kind of a, forgive the drawing, but essentially that's what we're talking about in terms of how the roadway will be crowned right through this section. Get to accommodate the roof. And also, just to mention, there are going to be some traffic calming and pedestrian protection measures installed at that location. There'll be some bump outs that'll be installed at the locations where the arrows are. Okay. Community impacts, tree mitigation, and community outreach. So, for those of you who have been live on the service road between Eastchester and Stillwell and Bronx Park East, you've seen these notices posted in your buildings. Those of you on my distribution list, you also see them sent out via email. So these are the tools that I use to inform the community as we work on the service road. You'll see more of them. Pedestrian and traffic impacts, prior notification will be provided and adequate signage will be posted. As I mentioned, temporary street closures and traffic detours, driveway access may be temporarily impacted. Parking will be temporarily restricted during certain operations, but at all times during the trunk gate installation. And school bus stops may be affected. Notification will be provided to school bus providers in schools. Rodent control. We do have a rodent control specialist on the contract that has a rodent control specialist that comes out once a month to do baiting, regular baiting of the area to control rodent populations. They did do a survey at the beginning of the project. I anticipate that they'll do additional work as we begin excavations on the service road. You may see some rodent control baiting stations throughout the area. Individuals with special needs are encouraged to contact me so that I can assist. So in particular, the one impact that I can think about, or two impacts I can think about, are Access-a-Ride and school buses, especially being on the service road. So if any of you know somebody who uses Access-a-Ride, or if you have children that need to use school buses, I would encourage you to please reach out to me so that I can have that on record and take the necessary steps to alert the contractor as needed. The tree mitigation plan. So since the beginning of the project, we've been working very closely with the community to try and mitigate the amount of trees that are removed as a result of the project. We've worked with George and Joe and the task force to talk about those trees and to try and work out ways to keep them from being removed if necessary. Unfortunately, tree removal is a necessary component of construction, but we do know and recognize that this community really appreciates its trees, so as a result, we've been working very diligently to try and keep those removals at a minimum. And at this time, the North Service Road construction work is only expected to require the removal of a few trees near Bronxwood, as we discussed. One of the tree preservation tactics that we use, steel face curb will make it possible. The installation of steel face curb will make it possible to protect tree roots, thereby making it possible to preserve trees that may have to otherwise be removed. So in that gap there will be no concrete poured. Okay, we'll just install that steel face curb without the concrete, and that won't impact the roots of those trees. The apex catch basins on this project, which is pictured there in red with the red arrow. Apex catch basins are not the norm anymore. We don't install those, but on this project, to specifically save a dozen large trees, because there are pretty large trees near these catch basins, a provision was made to have these catch basins replaced in kind to preserve those trees. So certain sections along the service road where those trees would have been impacted, we're gonna go ahead and put those apex catch basins in. To date, you know, at the outset of the project, it was thought that we would have to remove 97 trees. The approved tree removal requests, 67 trees have been removed, or as it reads here, it reads, 67 trees have been approved for removal. I just want to break that down a bit. 36 of those trees are removed for condition, not construction. So Parks Department, Forestry Department said that these trees, because of their condition, the health of those trees, they should be removed. On our project, so far, 31 trees have been removed. 16 of those trees are less than 6 inch around, and the 15 trees that are larger than 6 inches. So as you can see, from 97 trees, we were able to whittle that number down to 31, and we hope to keep it as low as possible. DEC has assigned me as the dedicated on-site community construction liaison to keep you all informed of what's going on, identify and resolve issues, and provide regular updates. There's my information there. I have business cards if any of you would like to take them. I would encourage those of you who are not on my distribution list to please get on the list, because those notices that are posted in the community at the impacted buildings or streets, I send those out. You'll get those real time. You actually, I hit send on those, and then I go out to put them up. So you'll get them before everybody else. And at this point, I'd like to open up the questions.
So, as Thomas said about the main road, and they're gonna mill, that means they're gonna dig the street up. Somebody has already, more than one person has already been, raised concerns about the curb line being basically adjacent to the road, so there, as if there's no curb, they're gonna dig the roadway down so that the curb will come through and appear. And I know we've talked about in the past, people have asked about the south side of the project that was the phase one. The city is gonna be at the end of all of this. Once the entire north side is done, the contractor will go through and repave Felon Parkway South. Am I correct on that? Okay, so we have that on tape. We are tape recording the meeting for those who could not be here tonight. So I'm going to start doing questions. So again, if you don't mind coming down and speaking to the mic, this is the only working mic currently, so that we can get your questions on tape, and then we'll give the mic back to Thomas so he can answer them properly. We have a distinguished elected official here, Councilmember Jonai. Would you like to come up?
Thank you. Just a couple of things that came up. Parking lots. Can we be very specific on the number of spots? I remember when this was first proposed to us, we were not talking about parking lots for any other reason than handicap and some of the safety measures that were needed.
Right.
In addition, the current roadway conditions, as you saw for yourself and experienced, it feels like a route outside. And the potholes that we have been inundated with holes
On the main road.
on the main road, the service site, including directly in front of this facility. It's terrible. And we've had so many incidents of flat tires, damaged rims, you name it, during this whole construction phase. And thirdly, the number of traffic agents that are out there. Can we actually have a number?
8, we're allowed to have up to 8 per shift.
Can you, so define the shift and where they're supposed to be?
You want to help me out on that shift?
It varies depending on where our construction is. So like once we get the information from the field, we contact NYPD and we tell them, this is our priority, right? X, Y, and Z. Obviously, we prioritize it so they know where we feel the most impact is going to be. And please put the agents there versus the other areas.
So at any given time, there should be 8 agents out there during construction times.
Based on the availability, obviously, of NYPD.
That's the catch. Based on availability. So if there is no traffic agents that are available, there'll be no agents out there.
Can I speak to that real quick? Sure. At the beginning, no problem, and thank you. I'll answer your question first with respect to parking. Oh, this came up today, and we actually looked at the plans and noticed that because of these bump outs to accommodate the trees, for this meeting, we wanted to specifically mention that, there will be some parking impacted. There's one section of 97 feet, I forget exactly where that is on the plans, but 97 feet would equate to, like, 7, 8 cars, maybe?
5, 6. It's only where.
5 or 6.
Only where the trees are.
Only where the trees
Only where
bump out.
houses are.
And I can certainly get you specific information on that. I apologize for not knowing the exact number of spaces that are gonna be impacted. I can get that to you. But I know that the largest section that I saw, or that we noticed today, was about 97 feet, where there's gonna be a stretch where it bumps out. So those will that'll definitely be a spot where we'll lose some parking. So 5 to 6 cars, 5 to 8 cars perhaps may be impacted
Can you
there.
get those locations to us so we know?
Absolutely. I apologize for not having them on the presentation, but literally before we came over, we noticed that this was an additional impact, so I can get that to you. You had a question about the roadway reset, right. And as I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the project, bear with us for a little while longer on the main road, because the contractor in the next couple of weeks is to begin milling, ripping up that whole road to begin resurfacing it. Unfortunately, on the North Service Road, you'll have to bear with us a little bit longer, because there would be really no sense to us coming through, or anybody coming through and doing any kind of repairs, so it's going to come and rip that all up soon.
I'm not looking for a finished product.
Uh-huh.
I think we all understand.
You want to address problem areas.
You need someone out there to address real problem areas.
Okay.
And the potholes in those conditions
Mm-hmm.
are not only dangerous, but there's actually been vehicle damage.
Okay.
And if you try to brake on those bumps, all you're going to do is slam into another bump.
Mhm.
It doesn't happen.
Okay. And the last piece that you asked
Traffic
about,
agents.
traffic agents, right, so, this Oscar had answered that question.
The resurface, not entirely surfacing, repair and maintenance, and we know that projects due to unknown circumstances are delayed.
Sure,
You're expecting to have milling done by the end of the month. Something could happen, go a whole other summer, and now is where that area is used for the beach rollers,
right,
and we expect tremendous amount of traffic.
okay. Oh, sure, thank you.
Thank you for your question, Council Member. My name is Eric McFarland. I'm the Deputy Commissioner for the DC. So concerning this, I just moved wood for the service road. I thought I was driving off wood and I have a big car. So we are going to direct the contractor to basically make this a little bit smoother, put additional temporary asphalt on there, especially in the worst areas, to make sure that cars will go up and down, have smoother ride, particularly on the service road. From Stillwell, I do from Stillwell all the way to here, and I can tell you, I know what he's talking about.
The main road is no different.
Okay, right. But the main one, they're gonna address, they have a plan to address it, but this could be, if we don't do anything right now, it's gonna stay like that for a little while longer, which is not good. I agree with you. Right, we'll fix that.
Okay, so Dr. Zulch, regarding the planned preservation of trees.